Were you gonna
Hola,
sit there?
cage fighting connoisseurs. Eugene S. Robinson talking over the intro.
Enjoy.
My heart breaks. My heart breaks.
Enjoy your view.
I got Sorrel 2 feet from me, just fucking talking and talking and talking.
Just crushing dreams, right?
Crushing dreams left and right. That's what he's doing. Tell me how horrible I am.
Well, good for him. It's got to reinforce that message. We've seen what out of control narcissism can do to a young man like yourself, Mr. Robinson. So this is
This is why you forgot my show this week, eh? Yeah. Put me in my place.
You don't even want to know what I went through Sunday night. You don't even want to know.
Oh yeah,
what I was going through.
Yeah.
Sick kid, new mattress. Don't buy the cheapest mattress at the store. That is my advice.
The chemicals from the mattress.
No, the firmness. It felt like I took an ass whipping after I slept for like 2 hours on the thing, and just horrific. And so we had to get one of those pads to put on top of it and the whole bit. And now it's off gassing city. So anyway, but I
wonder if they have that problem in Ethiopia.
What?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All right, so we're here for the UFC Berlin Fight Night Care Don't Care preview. Also, Bellator 138, Ken Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice. Some guys from your generation, Mr. Robinson. Old school.
Yeah,
Old school.
You know what? I have assiduously word power. I've assiduously avoided. I just don't want to know, man. I just don't want to know. It's like if your grandparents start talking to you about their sex lives, at a certain point you just kind of shut down. It's like, yeah, I'm glad, Grandma, that you've discovered where Victoria's Secret is, but I just don't want to think about it.
Once overheard my Uncle Melvin telling my Uncle Vern some kind of off-color story about a brothel in Mexico, and it was deeply disturbing. Especially the gleeful tones of voice and the smug looks on their faces was very disturbing. Very disturbing.
I had the occasion when I worked at Apple to be sitting in the cafeteria where there's great food at the Apple cafeteria, and Steve Jobs comes in with a bunch of designers. He was working on something, and I had to sit there for an hour and listen to him regale these clearly probably gay or at least bisexual designers with tales of his college cocksmanship. It was
with
pretty,
ladies.
Yeah, with ladies. It was pretty
just what they wanted to hear.
Exactly. It was a pretty phenomenal example of not knowing the room, and not really caring, So
he is Steve Jobs after all.
And so I made a mental note to myself, and I had to editorially, somebody said, Eugene, this woman wrote the sex article about the use of sex cages, like dog cages for sex. And
this is a new one to me. This is a new one to me. Sounds expensive.
This is an old thing, a new thing. And first of all, she cheated by never talking about the dog cage experience. She talked all around it, led us right up to it, and then
didn't go in and have a bark. Is that the?
No, she went in and used it, but she was, it's like the difference between a woman telling a sex story and a guy telling a sex story.
It's all soft lighting and romance from the ladies.
Yeah, it's like the time I got picked up by the Nazi in Hamburg, and he's driving me out to the wedding reception. I was at some guy's wedding, and I finally asked him about where he was in 1943, and he goes, "I bought the whole thing, hook, line, and sinker, and we rebuilt Hamburg to how you see it today." What? What? Where did you?
Exactly.
What about the march back from the front with the Russians chasing you, which is not technically a march back? It's you're fleeing, you're retreating. He didn't. So it's the same sort of women tell sex stories the same way that the Nazis, deal with their history. I want the details. I want the details. But fundamentally, I said you can't be interested in a sex story unless you want to hear, or unless you're comfortable imagining the person who's telling it having sex.
I don't know.
When's the last time you listened to an ugly person tell you a sex story?
Not voluntarily. It's been a while, but I enjoy hearing about, say, Republican senators getting caught in gay bathroom hijinks, and that's
I love that.
But
you said a lot of things twice there. You don't have to say gay Republican senators. Say Republican senators, and I got the rest of it.
I see. You put it all together. I don't think John McCain has a wide stance.
Hey, man, he had to do certain things when he was locked up.
Yeah,
that
he
was
had to eat maggots in bowls of rice.
Yeah. There you go.
For you, for your
and
freedom, hippie.
Have you heard some of the guys he served with talk about him?
Oh, everybody hates him. I've heard people who worked for him, and they really hate him. Like and his friends. Remember when he had a whole bunch of lifelong friends who came out and said this man should not be president. He should not be anywhere near the button.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
That was big stuff. But you need to give the disclaimer, Eugene.
All right. Care, don't care. This has nothing to do with your skills, talents, or abilities as a fighter. Much more to do with the UFC's marketing heft and how they choose to use it vis-a-vis putting it behind you or not. So you crybabies and bedwetters, do not take personal offense and try to hit us. It's not our fault. Tough it up. Fight a good fight. Move from don't care to care, and you will be remembered in the annals of fame.
Valhalla awaits, as they say. Valhalla.
Did you see on Knuckle Up? I was talking about getting spot checked, braced 3 times in New York City by fans of Knuckle Up. Fuck yous. Which stands for Friends of Knuckle Up.
I made you a star, Eugene, and you never forgive me for it.
It was actually phenomenal, man. It made me nervous because I started to think, well, these guys like the show. What about the guys who don't like the show, who see me on the streets of New York?
You won't hear them coming.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. So now my head was on a swivel for the rest of the trip,
Now you know just a tiny bit of how Elvis felt.
Well, yeah. No, I don't. No. There's a big cash difference between me walking the streets of New York because I can't afford a cab and Elvis with the pink Cadillac. So.
I see. And buying them for just any random stranger he happens to meet.
Yeah.
So anyway, but let's dive into the fights, and we're going to do UFC Berlin first. I know you're hating on the Kimbo Ken main event, but I do believe that is the biggest.
I'm down. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound here.
All right, so we'll start with this is the whole thing's on Fight Pass Saturday afternoon, live from Berlin. Starts really early in the morning.
Oh, I thought it was Friday.
Now, Bellator's Friday, so we're going to be doing some time travel. We're going to go from Saturday afternoon to Friday evening.
Okay,
we can handle it. Our readers, our viewers, nearly can spell sagacious. So one of your viewers there tried to, yeah.
He still hasn't looked it up.
I spelled
keep mentioning it, man. Okay. You gotta look it up. You don't have to go further than your phone. Go to dictionary.com.
It's right there at your fingertips.
It's like that boss I had who was like telling me, you can't go making up words, Eugene. I was like, what word do you think I made up? And she goes, hustings. I said, did you look it up? She goes, yes. I go, what community college dictionary did you look it up in? And then, I probably should have been kinder.
Yeah.
And she goes, what, are you Webster's? What one do you use? I go, dictionary.com. And she goes, Pwah! And then she looks it up and then finds it. And it's like, well, if I don't know what it is, nobody else is going to know. Oh, of course.
She is actually the measurement of what words are in common usage.
Never should have had the job.
What was the job?
That's when I was at Mac Life Magazine.
Mac Life Magazine. Yeah. Well, there you go. They've traveled on without you somehow, Eugene.
They no longer publish as a print magazine. So.
Well, I mean, Macworld, but I mean Max. Yeah. Everything is gone.
They're actually not doing. They're not doing well at all. They're really suffering.
Yeah, well, I mean, print magazines.
Well, no, they're online too, and they're still suffering. Strange.
Print magazines never make the transition. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, let's move along. We got, let's see, 7 fights on the Fight Pass preliminary card before we get 4 fights on the Fight Pass main card. So you better have Fight Pass for this one. And I predict a succession of quick don't cares, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth. First up, bantamweights Taylor Lapilus versus Ulka Sasaki.
Do not give a fuck.
Me neither. All right, lightweight Peter Hallman versus Magomed Mustafayev.
I care.
Because?
Let's see. Because of the whole Chechen thing.
Are you just assuming that Magomed Mustafayev is a Chechen or a Dagestani or?
Dagestani,
yeah. You're not going to tell me you actually know. Come on.
What are you saying?
I'm saying.
What do you think? The guy's from Norway?
He's from Russia. Let's see. Sochi, Krasnodar Krai is where he's from. which I just
Yeah.
butchered,
Yeah.
unspeakably. But this is his UFC debut. Every fight he's had so far, except for one in one, but he's fought in the Sochi Star Club Star Tournament last year was his most recent. But
I think I'm interested. In the whole Chechen-Russian connection because I don't know that I fully trust it or believe in it. I think it's being used for marketing value, and we're hearing a lot about Khabib. I haven't seen a lot of him lately. We're hearing a lot about
it's that AKA connection.
Yes, I know. Whatever, man. We have finally reached that dividing line when like the hype is exceeding what's been delivered on.
To the point where Johnny Come Lately is like yourself are just rooting for everybody with the Russian sounding name.
I said I was interested, didn't say I was rooting for.
I see. You're just jumping on the train. I'm trying to get Google Maps to expand. It is in the Caucasians. He is coming from the Caucasus. Yeah, that does look like the neighborhood. Okay, I back off. So that's a legit care. They're tough people. So
Yep.
All right, so that brings us to and I don't know. I can't bring myself to care about anything. It's beneath me to care about a fight this low on the card, Eugene.
Okay, I understand.
You can let me just get away with that?
Yes. Well, no. You interrupted before. I was going to say, I understand a man in your position with a very expensive mattress and fine taste and interest in caviar and steak and champagne that couldn't really possibly spend the time. I got it.
I'm too busy down at Mattress Warehouse trying to find the one that the advertised sale price as opposed to the ones that are 6 times as expensive on the floor.
Did I tell you about my $5,000 bed?
5,000? Is this the one that Brian Wilson spent 7 years in? Did you get it on sale when he floated it out in the ocean?
I got it for free. Like somebody's trying to give away the bed. And I'm like, I'm not taking somebody's castaway bed. Fuck that shit. And it's like, well, there's a catch. The catch is that one of the guys that works for her will bring it, will dismantle it, put it in his van, bring it by, and assemble it. So all of a sudden, I'm looking at like, man, that shit could be a drag. And I'm like, well, let's take a look. Well, I could always get a new mattress and then go over, take a look at it. And as I'm waiting for the guy to take it apart, I fucking look it up online because I said, I'm going to have to buy stuff for it, like pillows or some such thing. And I find it online. It's like a $5,300 fucking Italian bed. I was like, okay, be careful. Putting it in the van. All of a sudden, I'm like a complete lunatic about the bed.
So just the frame was $5,000. Not
correct.
Even box springs. Wow.
Yeah, not even the mattress that was coming with it and all the bedding probably pushed it up to over 6,000. I mean, who among us?
How can you sleep surrounded by all that oppression and appropriation?
Like a fucking rock. I don't know how I ever slept on anything else, man. It's like now I'm sitting in bed drinking Dom Perignon. It's like an angel pissed in my mouth.
What a charming image. Oh, yeah. Let's move along. Middleweight, Scott Askren and Antonio
Don't let people tell you that we don't go religious on this show.
Indeed. So, do you care about Scott Askham and Antonio Dos Santos?
You know what? Scott Askham has made this way too easy. No, I don't care about Scott Askham.
No, me neither. Okay, how about featherweights? Nicholas Backstrom versus Noad Lahat.
No, I don't care.
I actually remember both of these guys, and I do not care. I do not care. All right, featherweight, Alan Omer versus Arnold Allen.
Arnold Allen, what a great name.
I know you don't get to hear the name Arnold as much as maybe you should.
No, but I mean, it's like Steve Bruce. When they ask you to fill it out, last name first, first name last, you Steve Bruce, Bruce Steve. No, last name first. I did. But you got 2 first names. Whatever, man.
Yep. It's but I like the Arnold part. I'm fascinated. You don't get a lot of Arnolds these days, but we don't care. Am I right?
Correct. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right. Lightweights, Marbek Taisimov versus Alan Patrick. Now you're owing Mr. Taisimov a perfunctory care just because of his name ended in a V.
Just that he's a Russian. That doesn't mean shit to me.
It doesn't. It's just the Caucasian
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I see.
Easy.
But he's actually Chechen.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, but you're missing the point, kind of. Like, my idea is that they're really pushing it and selling it, and I'm not convinced that it's. So I'm watching with a gimlet eye because I want to see if it's a legit deal or if it's so much hokum.
I see. Well, he's 3-1 in the UFC, and I guess we've seen enough to not care. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, there are lots of guys who was the guy, Cathell, who Pendred, right?
Cahill.
Okay, whatever. And hey, did we ever figure out why he was pissed with Joe Rogan?
He explained it, but I didn't care enough to remember. I think because okay. Joe Rogan, the way he announces the fights with the tilt, where like he favors somebody. Like I thought in the Chico Camus Henry Cejudo fight that they overcalled Camus pretty much. You know what I mean? I mean, if you listen to Rogan and Goldberg, it was like Cejudo was losing and on the ropes, but it was a pretty clear cut.
Yeah. They do that a lot. They tip the hand, but I mean, getting pissed off about that is probably one of the more pointless things that could ever happen.
Well, when it's you, I think it might be a little different. When you're the man,
I wouldn't know. Nobody's ever said these words. I've never heard. Eugene's gonna win this.
I see. Even though you're a world champion.
Yeah, even then, I got Sorrell sitting in the stands going like this, and then I look and I'm like, what? And he's like,
well, what can I say? The guy's seen you compete. I mean,
he calls himself a miracle worker. I have to agree. That kind of anger that it got of the hole, I was, led me to be a world champ.
Well, all right. It's like Patty Duke and Mel Brooks' wife as Helen Keller and the lady who,
and Bancroft.
Bancroft, yeah. She died a while back. But what was
Mrs. Robinson.
Yes, Mrs. Robinson, indeed. Dustin Hoffman ruins that for me, man.
Why?
I had a girlfriend who would like identify me with Dustin Hoffman in movies, like, and that really, like, I'm not Dustin Hoffman or Paul Simon. Leave me alone. You know what? I'm not going to listen to that fucking whining because people used to think that I was Lou Rawls. So there you go. But you're way too young to be Lou Rawls, and he's very smooth, Eugene. Was this back in the disco era?
You'll never find. Yeah, it was back in the 70s.
Did you know Sam Cooke almost killed Lou Rawls?
Really? No, I didn't know. Why?
In a car wreck. And they wrecked after a show. Sam was driving crazy, showing off and in a hurry to get someplace, and they had a horrible car wreck. Sam was unscathed, of course, and Lou Rawls had massive brain trauma and was in a coma for a couple weeks. So
I did not know, man.
Yeah. So Lou Rawls trivia right here. I actually thumbed through the Lou Rawls discography recently. It's kind of painful. Yes, I did. Because of the Sam Cooke connection. So I listened to
Is he still alive, Lou Rawls?
I believe so, but I didn't get past like the late 70s,
Right.
I mean, but his disco stuff is better than his 60s stuff. He struggled to find his place. But anyway, not a soul man, Lou Rawls. Not a soul man. Right. Despite doing gospel with Sam Cooke, you'd think anyway. But anyway, back to fights. Tyson Patrick, neither of us cared. And that brings us to the headliner of the Fight Pass prelims, which is oxymoron territory. Featherweight Makwan Americani versus Masio Fullen.
I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. All right, so now we're to the main event. This is the big time.
Hey, did you see? I mean, am I the only one? I'm sorry to switch gears here like this, but I'm increasingly disturbed by Ronda's insistence that I think about her sexually.
You've been on this hobby horse for a while now, Eugene. We could call you Uncle Toby
right
if you know your Tristram Shandy references.
Well, right after I said it last week, she's like, I'm going to sell my car. I hope they don't jerk off on it.
Haven't you said the same thing? I hope some raging nymphomaniac doesn't buy this and impale herself on the gear shift in a frenzy of misguided lust for my
No,
essence.
man.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what the world is coming to.
I see.
Why this insistence?
You've probably
And
never
then
had the
right
pain
after
of
that,
girls stealing your dirty jock roll and stuff. Like, it's
well, right after that, I'm complaining, and some guy, I will not say who,
was
goes,
helping himself in your car.
no. He says, I got some gossip for you. I go, about what? He goes, about who Rhonda's getting with today. I go, I don't want to know. I don't. And he told me anyway, and
Oh,
I won't say it on the show, but I'm shocked.
I see. I heard some gossip the other day that I can't tell you that was scalding. Actually, just demeaning and embarrassing for everyone involved. But
Just tell me who's involved, and I don't.
no. Let's see. Should I tell you who's involved or what's involved? It's a manager that I've gotten crossways, who's also been crossways with the SEC, and a wrestler from Arizona. That's all I'll tell you.
Okay,
But
that's it.
it was and not between the. It was a triangle involving the two of them, and it wasn't consummated, but just the suggestion of it was a mighty hilarious. Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah, hilarious is not the word I'm using.
Sad. Hilarious is
I
a point and laugh, but no.
Yeah,
No?
I just assume think about other things, and this insistence is disturbing. But whatever, I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it.
All right.
Because I know the second we wrap this show, Rhonda's gonna say something like, "I have a vagina." Okay, and you know what? Yeah, we knew that.
Did we?
I guess we won't until she tells us, right?
I see. In these days, you never know. You never know. All right. So we haven't even talked about the lady who thought she was black or claims she was black.
I'm less interested in her and more interested in her sex offender brother.
She's got a brother who's a sex offender.
Joshua.
What does that family not have?
When he was 24 years old, apparently it was allegedly forcible sexual contact between him and one of the 6-year-old adopted kids. Yeah.
Yuck. Well, that's unpleasant.
Yep.
So, shouldn't be touristing in other people's misery, Eugene.
Yeah.
Well,
the Daily Beast made me read it.
They do that, don't they? They email me just the scurrilous stuff 3 times a day, and I'm always clicking right through there. Anyway, Now we're getting to this is the big time, Eugene. We're going to turn it around with some high caliber MMA. Lightweight, Lucas Szejewski versus Nick Hein. Nick Hein.
Nope, sorry.
I almost care about Nick Hein. He hasn't quite sold me, but I'm kind of interested. Judo background can throw down a little bit. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm open. Now I'm really looking forward to the guys who are moving from don't care to care, because there've been a few, and I need to come up with a name for the list of people who make it from DC to C, and so far I haven't been able to do it. But it's like right there, like with the fight book, where I finally was massaging from, and it wasn't me.
Alchemical, transformative,
Well, in this case, with the fight book, it was a Sicilian. But I was like, man, I got everything you ever want to know about fighting, everything you want to know about ass kicking, and then he said everything you ever want about it, and he came up with the title. I was like, good. That's
the title I still can't say or remember. Fight, everything you want to know about ass kicking, but we're afraid to get your ass kicked for asking.
Yeah, there you go. So when you're not under pressure, you can do it. Much like achieving an erection.
I don't have that problem anymore.
Anymore. I got
Ever since I quit the pills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those pills are bad.
Yeah, the Vicodin, the OxyContin, they're fun. But, I put it together. It took me years later, actually. But, I noticed the falling a lot and rolling out of bed. And
that there was a causal connection.
Yes. And some of my work performance issues. And people walking to the office and people going, ooh, Nate. Later on I put, wow, I must have been bombed. So
I don't even know if I should tell this story, but I remember one evening.
Probably not, but go ahead.
We played a show in Berlin, and part of the problem with playing Oxbow, we played with ISIS, and part of the problem with playing late is that you're so geeked up after the show, and to make the long drive the next day, you got to get up early, right? So what happens? you're like geeked up, and then you can't sleep, and maybe you finally get to sleep around 3:30 in the morning. If you got a 6:30 leave time, that doesn't leave enough time. So
take some acid. That's what the butthole surfers did. No,
a friend of mine gave me some Ambien, and this is a day before.
Stay away from that stuff.
Yeah, this is a day before people knew that Ambien could be kind of dangerous, right?
Yeah, my wife prosecuted a number of people for DWI who were like in their PJs or their bathrobe or nightgown driving their car and swearing, I went to bed and woke up behind the wheel. And she was like, yeah, right, going to jail, buddy. And then years later, we discovered they were telling the truth. Anyway,
well, unjustly convicted, you're saying then?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily unjustly convicted. They were driving and they were impaired, but it wasn't necessarily their fault. But
well, in this instance, I take the pill, right? And I'm walking past the merch table, which I've just cleaned up, and I'm about to, head into the van, and somebody says, "Hey, Eugene, let's have a nightcap." I go, nightcap? What are you fucking talking about? And they're like, I got some Jaeger. And I was like, huh. And in my mind, I think, well, this is my esophagus, it's a tube like this. And I go, the pill is going down here. This, is going down this way. Liquid will probably move much faster. And given how amped up my system is, it'll metabolize the Jaeger before the pill even gets there. So I do a shot of Jaeger, and by the time I get outside to the van, I feel fine. But apparently, every single person who's looking at me is giving me that kind of look that later that you weren't fine. They're all kind of like,
you have to drive? Were you driving?
No, because they were driving right back to the hotel, which is very close to the club. I wasn't going to be driving to the hotel. And so I'm talking, where is that crafty Swissman? I mean, I thought I was fucking debonair as fuck, man. And it was like, people like, man, what the hell is that?
Is that going to be the title of your biography, Debonair as fuck?
Yeah, debonair. It's like somebody told me about, who's that guy, Brian Ferry. And then, of course, like I said,
he's debonair as fuck.
Guys who are mellow on stage are lunatics off stage, and they go backstage. They toured with Brian Ferry. And Brian Ferry's like, comes staggering out, his shirt torn open, covered with vomit. He's like, ah! And they're like, man, he doesn't look so debonair now.
But the ladies were probably still drawn to him like moths to a candle.
Yeah, because what are you hanging out with Jerry Hall? That might help. But
yeah,
hey, I saw Naomi Campbell when I was in New York too.
Oh yeah, what was she doing? Strolling down the street?
Strolling down the street with some dude. Apparently, she's not a fan of Knuckle Up. So.
Well, maybe next week. Yeah. Anyway, let's back to the task at hand. Welterweights: Peter Sabata and Steve Kennedy.
I don't care.
I don't either. I'm kind of following Sabata, but he hasn't hooked me yet. All right, now we're to the co-main event.
I know. I mean, this is the thing, man. I mean, the stakes are too high now. We actually, we could, for the first time, just run the table on DCs here.
Yeah. Well, you had the one Chechen, the token Chechen there at the bottom. Oh yeah. And I had one in there. I had Nick. No, I actually don't even. Yeah, I gave a provisional maybe care to Nick Heim, but that was it. But you're gonna care about this one: Tatsuya Kawajiri versus Dennis Seaver.
Care.
Definitely. Battle of the featherweights on the border of being washed up, but both former pretty good fighters. So, you have a pick.
And you got the Japanese thing going.
And the German thing, the Axis powers.
The Axis powers. I'm going to go against Seaver.
Going for Kawajiri, huh?
I'm just
stylistic matchup.
Super disappointed in Seaver's last outing.
Is it the new PED testing regime, you think, having an impact?
I hear a lot of people saying that about Kane and EPO.
I know. I was going to ask. I was just about to ask you to address that because you ducked the issue on Knuckle Up.
I didn't duck the issue so much.
You didn't address the issue.
Well, there's an ocean of difference between ducking it and not addressing it.
Sins of commission and sins of omission.
No, I'm gonna make the claim that it's like Hamlet. If he but blench, we know our course.
See, I think I got Adonis Layla that quote, and you didn't even acknowledge my Tristram Shandy reference, Mister. I live in West
When did
Coast.
you make it?
Earlier, when I said hobby horse, I called you Uncle Toby, and I even
I didn't hear the Uncle Toby part. I heard the hobby horse thing.
yeah.
Good for you, man. I only listen to about 30% of what you're saying anyway.
Well, right back at you. But we muddle through the show anyway.
Really? That high? I'm honored. I see you looking at your computer there. I figure you're texted. And
You should be. That's the vivisection. That's not this one. I have to be on my toes because I never know what you're going to say. Also, I was going to ask, are you a coffee or tea man in the morning for a Fight Pass card like this where you're going to have to be getting up bright and early West Coast time?
No, I don't drink coffee, man.
No caffeine at all?
Pretty much no. I got enough problems.
I see. I'm really not a caffeinated person either, although I do drink tea every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm down with the tea. Green tea. I think it's got life. Make me live longer.
That's hoo-ha.
I'm obsessed with longevity. So
why? What's so great about? Is it that great to be Eugene S. Robinson?
Yes.
Well, okay.
You don't know the half. It's pretty fantastic, but
Don't make me hate you. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Well, no, I've got that built-in thing of perpetually being broke and coming from a long line of broke people, and there being absolutely zero intergenerational wealth in my family. So I'm.
I once had a girlfriend ask me, "How has your family been in America for 400 years and never made any money?" So
man, that fucking hurts, man.
I know. And she was a granddaughter of West Virginia coal miners and somehow had more family assets than me. So anyway,
that fucking hurts. That makes me angry.
Yes.
I would like to throw her under a car.
No, I got to speak up, my dear friend, and I mean,
yeah, that's a funny joke. That's hilarious.
It was a serious question she was honestly asking,
Yeah. I love people with the honesty. I got like that Nazi guy I was talking to. He was like, "I'm a frank talking man," and he started asking, people about to be really fucking rude, And I was like, okay. And finally he crossed the line, and I was like, that's it. And that's why I started asking him about his Nazi past,
I see. And then he wasn't quite so frank.
Yeah. Then he was a little circumspect. So I go, oh, you can be.
Well, in today's legal environment, you can't be too careful discussing your Nazi activities, Eugene.
Yeah. What did he think? I was working for the UN?
Hey, you could be.
War Crimes Tribunal.
Yeah, I mean, what else is some schwarze coming with some band touring Europe? I mean, come on, it's not a very plausible
I was going to his son's wedding.
Even less plot. What were you doing at his son's wedding? Is somebody you met through musical?
Yeah, it's a friend of mine, and then of course he was adopted, and the rumor was that he was adopted. He was a Jewish kid. And he was adopted.
Your friend?
My friend. They specifically sought out a Jewish kid to adopt because as a way of making some kind of atonement. So, fine. So
I'm the way the Argentinian junta leaders would adopt the children of their victims.
That's a Desperacidos. That's totally different.
It wasn't really any kind of atonement at all.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm at this wedding, and me and the father, the Nazi, keep taking runs at each other. Like he'll come up and he'll say something cutting, and I'll start talking about the Marshall Plan, and then he'll go reconvene with a bunch of other old Nazis, and then he'll come back and take another swipe at me. This goes on all evening, right? But at a certain point, they say they have it's the reception, and all of my friends. They all turned their backs to the audience, people sitting around, and they all suddenly turned back with those comedy glasses with the big nose,
the Groucho
eyebrows.
Glasses.
Huh?
The Groucho glasses.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking about that scene from Cabaret. I just felt very uncomfortable with a room full of former Nazis, making mock of the man of the hour with the big nose and the bushy eyebrows. I was like, where are the yarmulkes?
I see.
What's happening here,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. where have we wandered, Eugene? Where have we wandered? We've wandered into
We've wandered to the main event. Bing!
Bing, bada boom. Women's strawweight, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who can say that name now? Kid Nate can say that name now. Versus Jessica Penn.
Yeah, I care.
Yeah. Do you have a pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the poll.
Yeah, Jędrzejczyk. I'm just going to let that comment just slide. Eugene goes for the poll.
Yeah, but you're mispronouncing her name.
Jędrzejczyk?
Jędrzejczyk.
Say it again.
Jędrzejczyk.
Jędrzejczyk. Yeah,
no,
that's the same. Jędrzejczyk.
Okay, it's totally different.
It's I can't hear the difference.
It doesn't matter.
Arabic speakers can't tell the difference between a P and a B.
Yep. Well, we're Americans and we don't have to pronounce shit.
That's right. Monolingual.
And it's not just because we're Americans. It's because we come from a big country.
Poland's a fairly mid-sized country.
No, it's a tiny country compared to America. Russians don't have to pronounce shit right. Chinese don't have to pronounce shit right. And Americans don't have to pronounce shit right.
Is that the big three? Is that it?
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
What about Brazilians, Indians?
Not big enough.
Not big enough?
No.
Congo?
Congo? Congo? What the hell are you talking about?
Country.
What are you drinking?
Earl Grey. Earl Grey.
You mentioned caffeine. You didn't mention anything about vodka. or like what I call in my house, breakfast water.
Breakfast water. That's a good word. So we're both picking Jędrzejczyk.
Jędrzejczyk, yeah.
How do you say it?
I just did it.
I said it exactly the same way.
Okay, all right. You're fine.
Okay, good. All right. So now we're moving on to Bellator 138, the biggest fight card of the weekend, I think, even though there's a UFC on Saturday and Adrian Brunner's fight boxing. All right, we're going to skip the preliminary card because we don't care and start with former lightweight Bellator champion Michael Chandler versus Derek Campos.
Yeah, I care about Chandler.
All right, do you have a pick? He's kind of fallen on hard times.
He has fallen on hard times, and I have no faith in his ability to not continue.
Struggling, yeah, I don't either. He's got 3 losses in a row. I mean, 2 of them to Will Brooks, current champion, and 1 of them to Eddie Alvarez. But and I don't know enough about Derek Campos to say one way or the other, but I'm not feeling any momentum coming out of Chandler, so we'll see. All right.
No. And then this thing with Alvarez and Gil, I mean, that was one of those decisions that when I get on my hobby horse.
It's called blatant localism, I believe.
No, not so much blatant localism. My hobby horse has been for, I'd like to see them use the draw more often as a punitive measure.
You thought it was a draw?
I thought it was a split decision, right?
2-2. Well, yeah, it was a split decision.
So it was one of those things where, how many people have you heard say, I could have seen it going either way? And what that means to me is draw.
Well, fans don't like draws, Eugene.
Yeah, you know what? Nobody does, but I like it better than somebody being robbed. And I can't even really say that somebody was robbed because it was that close, right?
Well, the thing was, Melendez had the edge early. He busted up Alvarez with those standing elbows, some sweet standing elbows. Alvarez adjusted his game plan, and Gil didn't.
Yeah.
And some will say that's a tendency the Cesar Gracie camp tends to have.
Yep, I can see that.
So, but, I don't have any problem with the guy who turned things around and getting the win.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm really lukewarm about it, but whatever.
To he that hath shall be given. To he that hath not shall be taken, even to the last jot and tittle. Huh?
It's good. Yeah, I like the jot and tittle part.
I added that. That's actually some Old Testament stuff I threw in.
No, I remember the jot and tittle thing from Dr. Gene Scott, who I used to love.
Dr. Gene Scott. This is a new reference to me. Who's Dr. Gene Scott?
Oh, my God. Cabaret Voltaire did a song about him called The Last Truly Free Voice in America, and they made Werner Herzog made a movie about him. He had like a 24-hour religious channel. He's at Stanford.
Oh, I recognize this guy. Yes, yeah. Indeed. He was batshit.
Yeah, he would. No, he's. I mean, Robin Williams even did a skit on him. He goes, I'd like to talk right now about the theological connections between Jesus Christ and Spider-Man. Yeah. So you could literally watch Gene Scott for hours. He would go into pyramidology and the Center for Council of Foreign Affairs, the Council of Foreign Relations. I mean, he's a bright guy. He's a Stanford guy, But then he would do this thing like, "I want you to give money." He goes, I'm not going to make a move until you give money. You just stare at the camera 11, 12, 15 minutes. And the phones start ringing and they bring him the little things that the people are giving money. He tears them up, throws them at the camera. Why didn't you give it? Because you loved God. I don't need your money.
The abusive talk show or religious TV host.
I love that guy. See, if you can get that Cabaret Voltaire thing, the last truly free voice in America,
Was this on the Sluggin' for Jesus album? Because Wikipedia nailed all three of the Scott and popular culture references. They've got the Werner Herzog documentary, the Cabaret Voltaire recording, and the Robin Williams Silent Live sketch from 1988. So,
wow.
Yeah.
There you go. I tell you, I was a Gene Scott fan.
Well, these are all from your golden decade, 1980, 1981, 1988. Eugene was still paying attention back then.
I had a TV.
I see. You hadn't fallen into the well of mirrors and narcissism back then.
Is this a well I've gotten out of?
No, that's what I mean. You've fallen in. Are you saying you probably were more narcissistic then when you were in your 20s than you are now?
Oh, I was out of control.
I bet. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the younger I get, the more impossible I was. I had to, you get a couple of career-ending injuries, almost career-ending injuries, and that straightens your shit right up. But then. Yes,
the I'm Mortal 2 humility lesson is, for me, it was a series of dead-end humiliating jobs, but
that helps too, man. That's why, I'll take a guy like Rollins and I'll be like, this guy, what does this guy know, man? He's been famous since he was 18. This cat, those guys.
He walked into Baskin Robbins, Eugene. He suffered.
Yeah, that's his one reference point, man. You try working.
His buddy was shot right before his eyes. That's
a different story.
Likable buddy.
What's that? Yeah, that's a different story. That might actually be traumatic, but the other stuff, I have to say, I don't know, man. There's like from A Bronx Tale, where Robert De Niro tells the actual real life convict now who played his son. He said, you think they're tough? Tough is, or maybe it was maybe it's Chaz Palminteri says, you think we're tough? We're not tough. What's tough is getting up every day and going to work and driving a fucking bus. That's tough.
That's tough. Yeah. But gangsters are more fun until they turn unfun.
Maybe that's what I was doing in New York, man. It seems like these guys are not really great at doing the math,
It's true. All right, but we got to get back on the road. Featherweight, Daniel Strauss versus Henry Corrales. You may remember Daniel Strauss from some of his marijuana drug arrests.
I do remember Strauss, but doesn't mean I care about Strauss.
His fights tend to be a little dull.
Yep.
So that's a don't care.
Yeah, that's a don't care, man.
Firm but fair, Eugene. Firm but fair. I can't disagree. All right, now here's one I know you're going to be all in the lather about. Heavyweight, Dan Charles and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I care about Lashley, but I barely care about Lashley. I just expected more.
Did you really? I never really expected anything because he was a middleweight who puffed up, probably from eating too many Fruity Pebbles, into this hulking behemoth with no cardio whatsoever and really no fighting. I mean, he can wrestle, but that's it. I saw Chad Griggs beat him live.
Yeah, that's right. Chad Mutton Chop Griggs. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm rocking the Chad Griggs on the facial hair, sort of. Anyway.
Not really. You need to get up with the mutton chops there, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I actually need to shave. This whole beard, the second round of beard is like I lost the habit of shaving when I grew the beard out, and so.
Yeah, that happened. That's why. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the show. Isn't Kid Nate's beard yet, but that's coming if we get the audience response I'm counting on. But anyway,
if you do, that's a sign of the apocalypse now. I mean, somebody started that Eugene Robinson's mustache Facebook page. I thought that was pretty freaking funny, but I'm not trying to build a show around that.
I say not yet. Let's
Not
package
yet.
this. Get some sponsors.
There you go. You're talking my language. It's like that great scene from that movie Devil's Advocate where he thinks he's escaped the devil, and the devil's like, yeah, we could really run with this Time magazine cover. The guy's like, yeah, you're right. Vanity and vexation of the spirit.
Indeed. All right, now we've got one I think you might care about. Featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull Freire versus Daniel Weichel.
Yeah, I care.
Yeah, and the Pitbull brothers, this one's the better of the two. Are you picking him?
Yeah, I'll pick him. How do you like that? How do you like that?
How do I like what? Your meh level of care?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Pitbull brothers are like, they've got like brand B, brand X written all over them, Yeah, they're definitely is it Hertz or Avis that's number 2. Like, they're, yeah. So, but now we're to the big stuff, the big leagues, the big time, Eugene. This is the fight everybody's going to be talking about, sadly. It really is. Heavyweights, Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock.
I can't tell you how bad this makes me feel, man.
Because as a man in your 50s, you know how far from the cage a guy in his 50s should be?
Not here. Let me think about this for a second. There are a couple of things. If, like Elvis said, I gotta follow that dream wherever that dream might lead, right? If this is his fucking dream, more power to him, man. And then I'm like, fuck
His
you.
dream of a paycheck.
Yeah, well, fuck. I didn't get there, but it's like, if this is your dream, who stand against you? The world. I mean, man, fine. Do whatever you want to be. A 78-year-old skydiver. I'm down with all that. But,
Pappy Bush did it.
Yeah, that's what. But if this is about, I need a paycheck. If this is about anything other than pure desire, then it's just a drag, man. It's really just a drag.
Come on, like you wouldn't be tickled pink to go into a men's room and see former world heavyweight champion Joe Louis in there serving up the mints and the hand towels.
Yeah, you got that right. There you go. Now you're on the right track,
Yeah, and then you could say things like, "Yeah, you used to be somebody, didn't you, champ?" Right?
Hey, didn't you used to be? Yeah.
I
mean, I don't know, man. It just
not so big now, are you? Huh?
Yeah. I mean, in other words, it doesn't make me the things that I come to MMA for. It doesn't make me feel like I'm getting them.
Senior abuse. You're not like coming to MMA. Come on, like don't pretend you don't watch the videos they shoot at the nursing homes of the attendants slapping the old coots around.
No, man.
I
wish you hadn't told me that. I wish you.
Those happen. I mean, I don't. This wasn't news to you. They show those on the news.
There's a lot of stuff that's not news to me. I'm not seeking it out.
Which is more upsetting, when they've got the hidden cam at the old folks' home, or the hidden cam when the nanny's slapping the babies around?
I feel I feel more strongly about the babies.
Yep, because everybody does. Because old people are just like, just shove them off the glacier with the other old.
No, because old people are not as helpless and can figure out certain strategies maybe to get the fuck out of there.
Maybe sometimes they're.
I have a relative who was in an insane asylum, and they would call to check up on her, and she's like, the people here are stealing my stuff, and they're like, oh, Arlene or whatever her name is, oh, you're being there. And so they go to visit Arlene, and they're like, Arlene, where's the shit? We sent you the TV, we sent you the radio. Where's your stuff? She goes, I told you they were stealing it. And they finally realized she's crazy, but she wasn't that crazy. They were stealing the stuff,
Yeah, I mean, like even the most disconnected from reality person, if they're in an institution and saying my stuff's getting stolen, that's like a totally believable tale,
Yep. Yeah.
Like it's like if she said the sun's out, you wouldn't go, oh, Arlene, you crazy nutter,
Right.
So anyway.
So I mean, I just can't.
Here's
man,
the interesting angle about Ken Shamrock and Kimbo Slice. And I get your elder abuse and sad, desperate man and everything. But I have so many beefs from Ken Shamrock from back in the 90s. Do you remember how he ruined UFC 2 by getting injured? UFC 3 by pulling out before the finals? UFC 5 by laying and praying on Royce Gracie for 30 full minutes? Do you remember UFC 9? Wait, we didn't even get to how he ruined UFC 7 by refusing to really put it to his pal Oleg Taktarov. And then we get UFC 9 where he danced and refused to punch against Dan Severn. I mean,
no, and I found him to be not a particularly, in my dealings with him up close. I mean, I had been a big fan. I actually bought one of his training videos, but I just
his Inside the Lines book is pretty entertaining.
I don't like the guy, and I'm down on this fight. What does this tell you? You know, I mean, if under normal circumstances, if I don't like a guy, I'd be like, yeah, I'm all down with him getting his head beaten in. But I don't, you know.
I don't even think it's going to come to that, because this is Kenneth Wayne Kilpatrick Shamrock here. This is a cat who can dig deep and find a way to fuck this up. Remember how he killed Elite XC with that stupid first he tries to hold him up for more money at the last minute, and then when he doesn't get it, he goes and hurts himself in training, and then instead of super gluing the cut shut, which I know it, so any veteran fighter should know the trick, he goes to the hospital and gets stitches. He might as well get a big sign, "Don't let me fight," tattooed on his head. Kills the whole main event. It leads to the series of fiascos. Seth Petrozelli knocks out Kimbo Slice. Bubble pops. Elite XC's canceled. I mean, like, I don't think he can top that because the stakes aren't as high. But I think Ken can find a way to fuck this up.
He will. But okay, so you have a pick?
I predict it doesn't make it to the cage.
Oh, wow. That's aggressive.
Yep. I'm bold that way. Fearless, even. How about you? You picking? Because these guys are both pretty feeble, and Kimbo at 41 might be close to feeble as Ken at 51.
And no, they gotta get to the cage. They gotta get to the cage.
One would think.
They gotta get to the cage. So
okay, so if it happens, I'm picking. Yikes.
Well, you remember the James Thompson thing with the fake ear and all that shit.
That wasn't fake.
Yeah, no, they didn't pump saline into his ear before they started the fight.
This is your craziest conspiracy yet. Mr. Adolf Hitler's alive and well in Dubuque, Iowa, or whatever it is. But
no, Argentina, man, and he's not alive. He's now dead.
Why would they? That was the grotesque and embarrassing fiasco with the James Thompson ear thing on network television. Why would they do that?
I think because they wanted to preserve Kimbo as a property, you know.
Ah, I see. So that was the only way he could.
So that was his. That the understanding was, if you get in trouble, go for that ear.
Huh. Well, maybe so. You're a more cynical man than I, being from New York at all. But I don't know. I'm a rube from the Midwest. I think.
All right. So do you have a pick here?
Do I have a pick? Man, I got to struggle with this. I think Kimbo probably is less diminished than Ken.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But, you know, I still really just don't care.
Yeah. Do you like Kimbo? We haven't even talked about Kimbo. What are your feelings on Kimbo?
I wish that Kimbo could have taken a page from Czech Congo and actually, you know,
He used a guillotine choke on Ray Mercer.
Yeah, that's not enough, man. I'm seeing the videos of him training. It's like, great. I'm glad you're
training.
Yeah, I'm glad you're putting the time in. Why aren't you better at grappling?
Shouldn't you just come out with your real beef with Kimbo because you're an old school DVD-based porn guy and you're mad because he's a new school internet porn guy and he killed your industry?
No, that's really actually got nothing to do with it.
I just had to throw that out there, you know, because his work as a bodyguard inside the VIP.
Yeah, I remember this.
Legendary.
Yeah, that I mean, that's how he first came to my notice. So,
Even
but
before, I think I noticed the backyard fight before the VIP work, but
well,
I
I like the hustle, man. I like the hustle.
I was Icy Mike or whatever the guy's name is that had the real
Right,
hustle,
right,
though. That
right.
I knew a guy who lived in the same building as that cat, and they were both aspiring filmmakers. And Icy Mike or whatever his name is started the web porn directory, and then the guy got to watch somebody who was like, well, this guy's not even talented. I'm going to sail way past him as a documentary filmmaker, and then he watches him become an internet porn kingpin.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I got a better story, and that's Jules, the famous Jules Jordan, whose name is his real name is Ashley Gaspar, and he had
Ashley Gaspar. Why would
yeah,
he
I
change
know. How
that?
do you like when the porn name is as good as is like the real fucking name? So he was a mop boy at a
At
porn.
Donna Shalala, you told us. How many times have you told this?
What is the story? You finish the story for me
He's a
then.
mop boy. That's okay. You finish the story then, because that's
Oh, -1 for Kid Nate. You got to use that Donna Shalala like you mean it, man. If you heard it, then
do
you
I
got to.
do anything like I mean it, Eugene? Isn't
Yeah, yeah.
commitment always
All
my
right.
problem?
Well, so he's a mob boy, and
Got to
he's like
start
watching
somewhere.
at a porno bookstore, a quarter movie place, and he's like, I could make stuff better than this, and so he sends out like a demo reel to John Stagliano,
Better known as Buttman.
yeah, who contracted, took the Buttman a little too seriously and contracted HIV in Brazil,
He was
where
in mourning. He was in mourning.
he was in mourning and depressed, and the best way he picks up a prostitute who happened to be a transgendered
Transgender.
prostitute, and he
He
goes, "What
was.
better way to
And
deal with
engaged
my?"
in passive anal intercourse.
Yes, there you go. Thank you for finishing the story. And so he
Ill
sends him,
advised, by the way.
yeah, he said, yeah, there are other ways to deal with depression, kids, than transgender prostitute. Anyway, so
And third world transgender prostitutes.
yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
So then he says, this kid's pretty good. He starts giving him things, and then he's like, right? He says, the only person I have to write bigger checks to is Rocco Siffredi, and Rocco never has any money. I don't know what he does with it. I go, how much you check? Siffredi gets about $300,000 a month, and at times with Jules Jordan, I've been sending him $200,000 a month. That's a lot of money, man.
That is a lot of money for a young man to handle. Wow. But it's all gone now thanks to file sharing.
I don't know if it is. I'm
You
not
think he's
quite
still
sure.
making money? I haven't paid attention to Jules Jordan in 10 years.
Yeah, but he's not back swinging a mop.
He's not? Well, maybe sock some of it away.
Yeah, if he was smart, he would have.
$300,000 a month, Eugene. How do you budget 300 grand a month?
Well, Siffredi had bought a castle in Romania, and the party never stopped.
Yeah, Rocco, man. I mean, I like my favorite Rocco.
It only smells, he says.
What?
If you know the Rocco canon, well, you know what I mean.
But say it again. Tony smells.
No, it's only smells.
It only smells.
It's only smells.
It's only smells. I gotta admit, I don't know my Rocco as well as I thought I did.
You gotta go to E-fucked to make sense of it.
It's only smells. I'll look that up because really the legit mainstream movie that he did, the French movie. Remember this one?
I do remember this.
Where the female French director somehow, well, it's unclear whether or not the lead actress agreed to have intercourse on camera with Rocco or not. But she was fine with it after the fact, but then blamed the director, saying that she sort of set her up for it. But I don't even know where I'm going with this. But 300 grand. My favorite Rocco story is the time his wife talked him into quitting having sex on camera. And she thought it would make their relationship better and everything. And then Rocco was spending so much money on hookers that she insisted that he go back to performing on camera. So
yeah. Well, that's Brandon Iron had the same problem. That's how he got into porn. He said his hooker habit had gotten to like at the worst, at his height or depth, depending on how you look at it, he was 10 grand a month.
10 grand a month on hookers. That is a lot of hooking. I don't even know what the going rates are, but that's quite a bit of money.
Well, it depends, man. If you want some, porn star quality, you're looking at $3,000 a pop.
Three
So
grand like for an hour? I mean, that's
yes, for an hour.
That's insane. That's ridiculous.
I told you that story with the porn star was that friend of mine, Olivia, and she was doing these shows, like she goes through town, she's dancing, and she used to work with Body Miracle, this guy out of North Carolina. So, she said this guy shows up for a private room show, and he was like a pizza delivery guy, and he had been saving his money for like a year, man. He was like saving it for a year, like every penny put away to come up with the $3,000. And he starts going for it. She goes, no, you got to use a condom. He's like, oh, okay. So he puts the condom on, one stroke, done.
Well, it must have been good.
And she goes, I feel sorry for him, but I didn't fundamentally like him that much. So the guy is like agonizing over like, could I, like, I feel so embarrassed. Could I go again? And then she starts doing psych warfare on him. Like, yeah, you could go again, but most guys, they can't get it up. They just can't get it up the second time. No matter, they keep trying, but they just can't. And finally, like about 7 minutes left, she goes, well, I'd really like to try. And she goes, oh, okay, go ahead. And so he tries, and then as he kind of sort of gets it up, she goes, you need another condom. He's like, oh, yeah. And he goes and gets the other condom. And then as he gets the condom on, she goes, oh, the hour's up.
Man, that's really heartless. Really heartless. But it sounds like he was a loathsome piece of shit anyway, so.
Well, she said some stuff that she goes, you know what? I don't want to be hard on the guy, but, take a bath before you show up, and you know what's not sexy? Toilet paper stuck to your scrotum, not sexy.
Yeah.
How do you like that? I just steered this show. I steered the show right into that gutter.
Our fans are they're just doing their bath salts and
and now they got to deal with this.
I mean, they're in rehab or the halfway house, wherever they're listening to this or watching this, and we've got to bring them down. We've got to bring them down with Nazis and sleaze and cage fighting. Anyway, so that's it. We're both picking Kimbo Slice. Is that?
Yeah.
And we're both sad. Are you going to watch it?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm actually not either because I'm going on vacation this weekend. First time without the kids. 8 years. The wife and I are getting away from the kids for the first time in 8 years.
Oh, that's going to be nice and uncomfortable.
Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to sleeping late and sleeping all night. Those are my two fantasies about my no kids.
Yeah, that's when people don't realize when you've been married that long, or not even when you've been married with kids. You have sexual fantasies about sleep.
Yes, like sleeping past, say, 6:30 in the morning.
Except you won't be able to do it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Worth a try.
I might even crawl out of bed and have a mimosa in the morning if I'm having trouble sleeping in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
But anyway, I'll catch up.
I won't be on vacation. No, not me.
You'll be plugging away. That's what we love about you. Didn't you just go on vacation?
That wasn't vacation. That was work.
You took your girlfriend.
She was working as a production assistant.
I see. So did the whole thing get expensed? Everybody's travel?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good gaming. Good gaming the system.
I'm not gaming the system. It's
legit. Good legit plan. Even better. Yeah. Good legit plan.
Yeah. I stayed in a hotel with a room with no ceiling. How's that?
And then you moved to another room that had a microwave. So don't tell me you weren't living in luxury, Eugene.
Yeah. They had the microwave, and I had to urinate 20 yards from the room in the public bathroom.
Because
there are no bathrooms in the room.
No bathrooms in the room? Savagery. Was this a hostel?
It was pretty hostile.
Only after you arrived. But
no, it wasn't a hostel.
It wasn't a hostel, but no bathroom. Wow, that's New York living right there.
Well, if you want to get a hotel in Manhattan, man, you want to save some cash.
You don't have that problem in Bellingham, Washington. I'll tell you, every hotel room has a
Is
bathroom.
that where you guys are going?
One of the places we're going, yeah. And Vancouver and Seattle.
I'll just make believe you said Paris, Rome, and Berlin. So I don't.
You know
fall
what
off
Bellingham, Washington is famous for?
I've been there, and it's not Bellingham; it's Bellingham.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
It's Bellingham.
Yep. Okay, for you.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway,
Jacek.
in Jacek.
There's no N. What are you with this N?
It's Jacek.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Say it again.
No, I'm not gonna.
Well, listen, say it.
I'm not playing this game. I'm not gonna play this game with you, kidding me?
All right. So Eugene will be. Zane will have 6 round up to the fights. We'll have vivisection tomorrow with Connor and Zane.
Yeah.
Then Zane will have. Yeah. There's another meme going. Eugene will have knuckle up, and I won't be around to fuck it up. Zane will be posting it for you. And then next week.
Do I send it to Zane?
You send it to Zane. Send it to Zane. CC me though, but send it.
I
to
don't have Zane's email.
Yes, you do. I'll send it to you. I'll send a note because you know how I handle everything professionally, and dots are.
Oh, you have, and I'm having to harass the guys from Fightland for my cash, man. It's
doesn't
really
happen with SB Nation, does it?
It does not actually. It's but SB Nation is not $4.4 billion. It's very, very disappointing.
Maybe that's how you get to have $4.4 billion valuation. It's like I learned when I was mowing lawns in high school. There was always the rich old ladies who stiffed you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how they get that way. That's how they get that way. So, but we'll be back. I'll be back next week in time for the Care Don't Care preview for UFC Ultimate Fighter Brazil, Cheetah versus Romero, the Tough Brazil 4 finale. So, anyway, give us a like on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube. Flip Eugene off because he's sassy. His dreams have not yet been crushed. Follow us on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson, at Kid Nate. You can read Eugene at Aussie.com, sometimes on Vice's Fightland. But remember, when you're reading Eugene's work on Fightland, you're taking bread out of the mouths of his children because he's not getting paid. Is that?
They haven't paid me, man. And I'm sure the guy listens to the show, and I'm sure he's not paying me to punish me for talking about him not paying me.
Gotta learn to be discreet.
I'm not left with a lot of recourse, and everybody who knows me should know, like the blues song says, don't start me talking. I'll tell you everything I know.
Uh-oh. Well,
I'm the world's worst spy.
Well, you infiltrated that Nazi wedding.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, and pretty elaborate cover story to start the whole Oxbow band and put years of work into it. But anyway, so that's our show. Yeah. So anyway, I did all this stuff. So all I've got to say is adios, MMA aficionados. Thanks, Eugene. We'll see you next time.
All right, man. Later. Have fun on vacation.
I'll do my best. See ya.